Sorry, I'm just trying to picture all naked right now. So. Yeah, okay. Hi, my name is Angela Stevens. Today I'm going to be talking to you about gluten-free diets for people who do not have celiac disease or a gluten sensitivity or intolerance. My claim is that gluten-free diets for people, again, who do not have celiac disease or a gluten sensitivity / tolerance, it is unscientific. It is an unscientific diet for these people who don't have celiac disease. Anyway, disclaimer also, if you think that you do have celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, please go see a doctor and don't base anything that you do on anything I have to say. Okay, anyway, to begin, the main claims for a gluten-free diet for people who do not have a gluten sensitivity are: 1, you may lose weight; 2, you will live longer; and 3, you will feel better. And of course, this is assuming that you feel bad to begin with. Now, what is gluten? Now, according to celiac.org, gluten is just a general name for proteins found in wheat. Now, what does gluten do? Gluten, it holds food together and helps it keep its shape. Now, according to medical Dr. Chang from WebMD, whole grains, which are a form of gluten, are rich in fiber, vitamins B, iron, and magnesium, which are all a part of a healthy diet. Now, I chose this subject matter because recently my roommate, she went on the gluten-free diet, and she was telling me about how, she heard that Gwyneth Paltrow and Miley Cyrus were on it, and supposedly they're supposed to be the pinnacle of health or whatever, and, they know everything. They're not doctors, but they know everything. And she said that, she's going to lose all this weight. She already feels so much better. She was only on it for half a day, but she feels so much better now. And now, of course, she's spending, $8 on a loaf of bread, $10 on pasta. And also, of course, I looked up Miley Cyrus, and she was telling all of her fans that she's like, yeah, you'll feel so much better. Well, you know what? I went to Arby's recently. I ordered a roast beef sandwich, curly fries, and a Coke. I feel really good, too. Also, my second point is that if you are thinking about trying the gluten-free diet so that you can diagnose yourself with a gluten sensitivity, know this. A self-diagnosis can be actually very dangerous to your health. Now, according to an actual medical doctor, Michael Greger, a self-prescription of gluten withdrawal undermines a doctor's ability to detect celiac disease. Also, you might just have a food allergy to something else, and if you take gluten out of your diet and you're still eating the actual food that you're allergic to, it can actually exacerbate your allergy and will make matters worse. My final point is that gluten-free diets can actually contribute to unhealthy eating habits and weight gain. In fact, CNN recently reported that gluten-free foods tend to have higher levels of saturated fat, sugar, and sodium, all of which can, of course, make you gain weight and make you unhealthy. In conclusion, gluten-free diets are unscientific because 1, they're promoted by celebrities, not doctors. 2, they make it harder to be correctly diagnosed with a serious illness. And 3, gluten-free diets can contribute to weight gain and unhealthy eating habits. And just a tip to you, if you do want to live longer, just exercise and eat right. Don't listen to celebrities. Thank you.
Okay, the proposition's clearly identified, although you do have to kind of put in a bunch of qualifiers on it to justify the subject matter that you're talking about. But I thought that they were relatively clear, even though you've got like 2 conditional statements. But that's where your argument is, and that's where you want to be focusing, which is fine. I think that you need to develop the argument a little bit more that demonstrates that people are in fact doing these sorts of things. Your roommate is an interesting personal example to share with us, but how typical is your roommate's behavior? Are people being influenced by people like Miley Cyrus and Gwyneth Paltrow, or is it just your roommate? I think there's probably some information out there that suggests that there's been a spike in people following gluten-free diets that you could probably see in the last 2 or 5 years, something like that, the demand for gluten-free products is substantially increased. You can look on menus and notice where you didn't see gluten-free before that you see gluten-free now. And so people are highly sensitized to that issue. So this is something that we do need to talk about. Now, I think you do kind of explain a little bit about how people do have food allergies and sensitivities, and these could be problems. But it's all background information on the subject. What's your claim? This is the thing that I think was a little bit problematic, because you have a preview about issues about losing weight, longevity, and you'll feel better, which are not the supporting points that you have in the structure of the speech. So I thought, okay, she's got these 3 things listed here, and so what she's going to do is she's going to organize her speech by giving us the refutation on each of those particular points. But that's not really what you do. Instead, at the end of the speech, as you can clearly see, you've got a different argument that says people are being influenced by celebrities. There's a problem with doctors and being able to diagnose these illnesses if people are diagnosing for themselves or going on these gluten-free diets on themselves without consultation, and that there could be negative consequences to people. I'm going, well, that third point might deal with 2 or 3 of the things that you had in your preview, but that's, like I said, then where did everything else come from? So your preview should reflect what the structure of the speech is, and it didn't. It seemed to suggest that you were going in a different direction. And the signposts on the supporting points are not very clear anyway. So at the end of the speech, you do rescue yourself a little bit with the summary, because it makes it clearer what those points were supposed to be illustrating. But I think it should be clear in the body of the speech also. The examples that you cite are okay, but they are a little bit thin. I have to admit, I appreciate the mocking kind of response to things. Oh, my roommate felt better after a half day. Well, I went and ate Arby's. I felt pretty good after that too. I appreciate that, and you're in essence drawing a comparison. That reaching a conclusion like this using that sort of experience is problematic. If this is actually a reasoning argument that you're using here rather than an evidentiary proof on your particular point. And it's okay, but like I said, I think you need some information to support the position too. And where the heck is the Arby's? Because I cannot find any in the area. I have to go all the way out to, what is it?
In Victorville.
Oh, well, so yeah, they got Arby's in Victorville. There you go. All the ones in my area disappeared. They closed down. Damn it. Let's see. There's not really any statistical information in the presentation. You've got a couple of medical doctors that you cite that offer opinions. The opinions are a little generic about the subject, so I don't know that there's a unique piece of information that's being offered there. I think there's probably a good argument on that point that says when people self-diagnose, they create problems for themselves and for the medical community. That's, I think, a good place for an argument to develop. It just doesn't develop much more there. You make the claim, and then I don't get much past that particular claim. I think that's a little bit problematic. Like I said, at the end of the speech, I thought you rescue the content a little bit by trying to organize it a little bit more in the summary, and I thought that you had a pretty good exit line on those points, so that you finished stronger than you did in the body of the speech. All right, thank you. My oldest daughter is a celiac, and she is maniacal about this kind of stuff. And she's got a whole blog where she just goes off on people doing the kind of stuff that you're talking about. I wouldn't quote her, she thinks she's an expert, but of course, well, I don't want to say it. Have you ever noticed how stupid your parents are between your ages of 14 and 22? Your parents are the stupidest people in the world for that 12-year period, something like that. And then somewhere around 24, 25, your parents suddenly aren't stupid anymore. That's not the way it works, by the way. Oh, and you made the joke at the beginning of the speech. That's one of the things I almost always talk about when we're talking about presentation. If you're trying to deal with your anxiety, whatever you do, don't imagine people being in their underwear or naked, because first of all, you really think that's going to make you feel less nervous talking to a bunch of nude or half-nude people? And second, I'm sitting in the audience, and that's not going to be anything that's going to make you less nervous. You're just going to go, I don't know. That seems a little creepy. All right.